In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at layers and how to use layers to create images with different elements. In this particular example, you'll see a downtown building with a moon, which I've put in as a separate layer, as well as a background layer that was created with some brushes in Photoshop. So here we have 3 layers. One of the first steps we're going to do to start working on this project is open our first layer in Photoshop, which is the building. So we're going to go ahead and open that particular image, and we're going to change the layer. So at this point we notice that the layer is a background layer and it is now locked. If you are unable to see your layers, you want to go under the window drop down menu and make sure that you check mark layers, or you can hit F7 on your keyboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and double click and click OK. We can also name our layer, which may be a good idea. I'm going to call this layer building. Alright, now what I want to do is use the magic wand tool and get rid of the sky. And if you've watched the tutorial on selection tools, you will see more about the magic wand tool. So I'm going to go ahead and select the magic wand tool and select the sky here. And I have a tolerance of 50, which seems to be picking up most of the sky. We notice a couple fragments here. I think there's a bird and a little bit of the radar tower. So I'm going to get the marquee tool, which is also covered in the selections tool tutorial, and I'm going to just select those and hit the delete key and get rid of that. You will see now that we have a checkerboard here, and that means that that is a transparency layer. So I want to add a background layer to this particular layer, and so what I'm going to do is go over to my layers panel, and right here at the bottom we'll see some different selections, but I'm going to choose new layer, create new layer, and that put a layer on top, and you'll notice that it is highlighted. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and grab one of my images here. I'm going to grab the paint tools, which I created a layer using some of the brushes in Photoshop. Well, notice that this is not positioned in the landscape mode, so what I'm going to do is go over here to image, and I'm going to go rotate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate that clockwise. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get a selection, and I'm going to select all and copy. Okay, I'm going to go back over here to my image that I'm working on, and in the layer 1 I'm going to change that to background. I'm just going to call it BG. Alright, making sure that's highlighted, I'm going to go over here and click paste. Now we'll notice that image is quite a bit smaller than our original image, which is only 25%. So what I'm going to do is go over here to edit and transform. I'm going to click on scale, and we'll notice that we get a bounding box around here. I'm going to click in the corner holding the shift key down so that I get a proportional size. And now for the ending, I'm just going to go over here and click on the handles and try to pull that around so I fill up the whole space. Now you'll notice it looks a little bit pixelated here, but I'm going to double click it and it's going to change into its selection. Now you'll notice that we do not see the building. So what we need to do is bring this layer down, because the layers have a hierarchy. The layer that's on top will be shown through. So we're going to bring that down, and we'll notice that our transparency area is now filled in by our background layer. Also, looking at this here, I notice I have a little bit of fragmenting with my tower, so I'm going to use the marquee tool again and making sure that I am on the building layer, and select that here and delete that. Alright, now we have one more element that we're going to bring in. we're going to bring in the moon. So I'm going to select that and open that with Photoshop. I'm going to go over here and get my marquee tool, the elliptical marquee tool, and I'm going to change the feathering here to about 20 pixels. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to try to get a nice little round area. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to go up here and hit cut. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go back to my image I'm working on, and I'm going to create a new layer again. This layer's on top, and I'm going to name this layer Moon. Okay, now what I want to do is go over here to Edit and Paste. So now I'm pasting the moon right here. Bring that out a little bit. And I want to increase the size here, so I'm going to hit Transform and Scale. I'm going to hold down my Shift key so that I scale that proportionally. Double click on it. And we'll notice we don't see the moon very well. We don't see the finer points of the moon. So I'm going to come over here to Image and Adjust. I'm going to adjust the levels a little bit. I'm going to bring that down so that we'll see a little bit more distinction in the moon. There we go. And now what I want to do is on that particular layer, I'm going to add some effects. So I notice that if I have the layer selected, I can click on Effects. And I'm going to give it a drop shadow. So I want to increase that drop shadow size a little bit, bring that up, and bring the spread out a little bit more. Okay. There we go. Now we see we have all three elements or three layers together as one image. Now there's a couple other things we can do here. We can merge or down or flatten the image. Once I flatten the image, that now becomes one image, and we'll see over here background. That means that we are now basically in one image. So there you go. I recommend that you go out and take a couple pictures and try this out with some layers. Have fun and good luck.